Hello, I'm Maria from the Richardson's Homeschool Life. So today I'm coming with another vlog as it's Tuesday. What I'm going to talk about today is IGCSEs. I have to think before I say that or my tongue gets in a twist. IGCSEs. What I've been doing, over the weekend, I've been having a look at different courses here, there and everywhere. Some for GCSEs and the IGCSEs, and I was having a look to see what they're like. I mean, I knew vaguely about them. I had looked them up in the past, but I thought I'm going to have a good proper look this weekend and see what I think about them and if they were appropriate. Now I know Sean doesn't want to do any GCSEs of any kind. She doesn't want to sit exams, which is fine if that's how she continues, and I'm not going to push her into doing exams and courses she doesn't want to do. But I'm thinking, well, it's worth having a look what's out there, because if she did change her mind, I'd have some idea then and I'd know what direction to look in. So I thought I'd just have a little look and see. I thought I'd tell you about it as well, as quite often in the past people have mentioned it to me about exams. So I thought, well, I'll have a look and I'll just tell you what I've found and what I think. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my other phone. And I can tell you about it as I go rather than have reams of notes or try and remember everything that I'd looked at. It did an introduction, first of all, to the international GCSEs. It tells you like how popular they are, where they are in the world, and how many different countries and everything do them, and the performances throughout the different years, which is all like bloody blah blah stuff, you know. But so we skip past all of that, and yeah, what it does tell you, what I did pick out and what I liked about that was how popular they were. Now I knew that they were increasing in popularity, but I didn't realise quite how popular IGCSEs were. And it says that a lot of private schools use them. In fact, the vast majority of private schools use them now. So I've got a friend who works in a private school and asked her about it, and she said yes, they do IGCSEs where they are. And the reason for that is because the students come in from all over the world. They're not just from UK soil, they're from all around the world, and they board there. And they take these IGCSEs away with them then, because they're not going to stay in this country. They're either going to go back to their own country or on to another country maybe and take up university positions and further education. And these qualifications are recognised around the world, so they can move around the world with them. So she said that is why they are so popular in private schools, because they can use them around the world. So they are recognised. They're recognised by firms in this country who are looking for GCSEs for jobs, and colleges and places like that that want you to have GCSEs. They will also recognise IGCSEs because they very much run along the same line as each other in learning and everything. So which makes me think, really, why don't they just scrap GCSEs and make it all IGCSEs, just all one thing? It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? I don't know why they don't do that. Maybe in the future, perhaps they will. But yeah, I thought that was really good. So I thought, well, I'm not going to look into GCSEs because they do a section. I'm not sure, I didn't tell you what I was looking at. The Oxford homeschooling is what I'm looking at the moment. I looked in the Cambridge one, but that looked very vast and complicated and did billions of different courses that Sean would never be interested in a lifetime. And it took me forever to go through them with you. But if you're looking for something more, definitely have a look in the Cambridge one, and you know, they'll have something. They've got everything in there. But yeah, I'm looking in the Oxford homeschooling one. Yeah, Oxford homeschooling. Now they do some GCSEs here. They do English language, English literature, put my teeth in, literature, maths, psychology and sociology. So they do follow GCSEs in that. And also they do Key Stage 3 courses in it as well. So there's sort of like all your main Key Stage 3 courses. You can do them online with the Oxford homeschooling as well if you want, and then follow into if you want GCSE or an IGCSE. So international GCSEs, which is what the I stands for, the international. They do biology, business studies, chemistry, economics, English literature, French, geography, German, history, human biology, maths, physics, science and Spanish. So quite a good selection, and the sort of selection that you need. You know, like most places they'll say you need maths and English and things like that. So it covers all of them. So if that's the sort of thing that you want to do, it's really good because it does cover all of them. I did have a look into some of the courses. I looked into the history one. If I click on it again, I can't remember everything it said about it. It just tells you that students will cover a number of key events throughout the 20th century, including the rise and fall of Nazi Germany, American history between the wars, the development of modern medicine, and finally the civil rights movement. And then it breaks it down. It's divided into 4 modules, like changes in medicine between 1848 to 1948, the USA from 1918 to 1941. Now that's something I was talking with Sean about learning, is some American history. I thought that would be quite good to learn. Maybe next year now we'll do some of that. And then it's got Germany, development of dictatorship from 1918 to 1945, and a divided union, civil rights in the USA between 1945 and 1974. So that's the sort of history it covers. So that's just an example of one of their lessons. Perhaps I should write it down on the final things quick that I wanted to say about it. So like with the GCSEs, they do lots of coursework, things like that, assessments. They don't need to do the same sort of thing with IGCSEs. Everything can be done online. You haven't got to find any private assessors for an IGCSE because they do it all online for you. The only difference is that obviously you've got to go and find a centre yourself that does do the exams at the end of it, like I've mentioned it before when talking about exams. Normally they're usually private schools that do them. So there's one near us, I think it's between 7 and 10 miles away from us, is our closest one. It doesn't seem that far because it's just a country lane that goes straight through, but yeah, that's our closest one to us. Now, it has got course pricing. You can access all your prices because obviously you can buy them online. So have a look at GCSE and IGCSE course prices just to give you an example. You see, this was something actually, thinking about pricing here, looking at it. When I was looking at the Key Stage 3 coursework, I thought, I'll have a look at that, see what it's like. And they broke it down into the 3 years, because you know it's year 7, 8 and 9. So they broke the courses down into each year. So rather than having one complete course to cover all of Key Stage 3, rather craftily broke it down into the 3 years, and they charge you a separate course for each year. So we've got here, as an example, 1 year it's £650. Then there's a £250 and £225. So by the time you've done, you've spent over £1,000 for your Key Stage 3, which really you can buy the books, find out what your local schools are learning and do it yourself for a lot cheaper than that. Heck of a lot cheaper than that. So that's just an example. So that put me off a bit. I thought, you know, that's something you can definitely do yourself. The cost of one GCSE or IGCSE is £375, which I suppose if that covers, well, it does say here total course cost. So if it covers everything in your course, then that's not bad, £375. But you have to remember, you've got to pay for your GCSE or IGCSE at the end of that. So the price of your IGCSE will be on top of that. So maybe you're talking another couple of £100 again on top of that. And that's just for one. So imagine when you do more than one, because they do like little reductions here, like 2 GCSEs or IGCSEs are £725, then you've got the cost of 2 exams on top of that price as well. And then it goes on to 3 is £1,075. So then you've got your cost of 3 exams on top of that. For 4 of them, they do you an offer of £1,425. But again, like I just saying, you've got 4 exam costs on top. And for 5 of them, it's £1,775. Plus then you've got the cost of the 5 exams on top. And it's not just the cost of the exams on top, but obviously you're going to have to travel because not everybody is going to be right where there's a centre. Like I said, our nearest one is between 7 and 10 miles away. You do need a car to get there because I think to get on a bus I'd have to go to another location to catch another bus to another location and back again. It would be costly. So yeah, you do have to bear that in mind. I mean, it's great taking a course from home, especially the IGCSEs. To me, if Sean wanted to do her exams, I think I'll definitely go with the IGCSEs because there's no messing around finding independent assessors, which you've got to pay for as well. There's none of that. You do your whole course online. All it says you have to do is book for your exam. When you book your course, you put your date in when you want your exam. So like we went to book a course, say from September, then I'd perhaps give it 2 years. So 2 years from there, I'd be given the exam date to book an exam. And then we got to find the place that will take her in for that date then for the exam. So that bit is tricky as well. I think that's a bit tricky. Maybe it's worth finding the place first and speaking to them before starting the course so you know when you can get in and whatnot, so you can book your date when you do your course then for when the schools are able to do it. But yeah, that's probably what I'd go with. If Sean wanted to do exams, I'd probably go with the IGCSEs because I think it'd be easier for her to do it all from home, and then I'd just have to find the exam places and take her. But she says she doesn't want to do it at the moment. I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to pressurise her into doing them, but I just wanted to look at what they were like, the prices, what we got to do, and especially the IGCSEs. And I really like the idea of them because the fact that you can use them anywhere in the world, that's really good because they're international, so they're recognised anywhere around the world, which I think is really good. So I think that would be definitely the ones that we'd go for if we were going to, well, if Sean wants to go for any. Reading the Key Stage 3 programme courses, I think no. No, I think for the money, you definitely can do it all yourself. And you've only got to find out what curriculum the schools are doing, you know, for that exam period, for that period, because I think they do change every now and again. So you've only got to find out. Everybody knows somebody who's at school who'll tell you what curriculum is. And sometimes you can go onto school websites and find out about curriculum and things anyway. So you can do that. It's much easier to do it yourself. So yeah, that was the Oxford homeschooling, and I thought that sounded quite good, and it did all the basic lessons that you needed, courses that you need. It actually does A-levels as well. They've got prices for them there, but I think they're a bit way off yet. I don't know whether, if she doesn't do any form of IGCSE or GCSE, she won't be going on to A-levels. So then I'm thinking, well, I looked into that, and although I do like the look of it, I think it's quite good. If you're wanting to do exams and do the courses, I think that's a really great way of doing it. I do like the look of the Oxford homeschooling, and I'll definitely keep that in mind should anything change. But then I went on to the Centre of Excellence. We'll find that. That's all right, I'm poking in my phone here to find what I want. I went on to the Centre of Excellence as I thought they sound really good. They've been coming up in a lot of my news feeds for a long, long time. I'd heard it from somewhere, must have looked at it at some point. I seem like I've known about it forever, but I haven't. But yeah, it keeps coming up. So every now and again I look in what courses I got. So I did have a look in there again yesterday. And theirs are really good. Now, they don't do the GCSEs or IGCSEs, no, not them sort of exams. It's just reads like it's a course, and if you succeed in the course, you get a diploma. at the end of it. Now, I don't know if these diplomas are any good for getting you anywhere. Some of them probably are. I don't really know. A lot of them, when I've read like reviews, what people have done with them, a lot of them are people who are self-employed and have done them to enhance what they do for a living. Others have done them because they're interested in something and want to change career. So they've done the courses to help them in that respect. But let's see if I can find some courses for you. I mean, I'll tell you what course categories there are. Now, under each category, there's loads and loads of different other things. So this is what I like about them. They do corporate wellness, child education, herbalist, language courses, aromatherapy, reflexology, massage, autism and special needs. I'm not sure how you say this. Is it Reiki? Life coaching, cognitive behavioural therapy, mindfulness, psychic and supernatural, beauty therapy, holistic therapy, counselling, psychology, diet and nutrition, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotherapy, animal care, which that one I like the look of. I looked into that one and they do quite a few different ones because Sean loves animals, and I thought, oh, she might like something like that. Then there's hobby and crafts, which is another good one. Then there's writing. That's another one I looked at because Sean's enjoying writing poetry and books at the moment. There's fitness and well-being, business, marketing and PR, history, and that's another one I looked at. There's some good ones on there. There's some I am interested in doing with her on that one. Audio books, some free courses, which aren't that brilliant. But I'll give you a taster, I suppose. Course bundles, so you can have a bundle of courses together. Earth sciences, and then there's some courses for kids, because I think a lot of these courses are designed for 14 and upwards, I think I'd read, but they do some for children as well. So this I think looks really good. If Sean doesn't want to do exams, then this is a sort of thing I'd like to do with her. I'd like to try a couple of the online courses, because there's no pressure on them. She hasn't got to go and sit an exam at the end or anything like that. It'll just all be marked as she goes along. So I thought the animal care and writing and history, I thought they might be quite good. Now, I did look at languages and I looked at German for beginners, but because she's doing this Duolingo thing as well, and she's got her books, the new book that will be starting after Easter, is aligned with you download audio, you know, it's aligned with audio, so that will help us. So we've got all them to do, so I'm not thinking about the language one yet because we've got plenty to be getting on with that. But yeah, definitely I like the sound of the writing. And under each of these, there's a few different courses. So you click on one of them and it'll give you a list of courses that are related to the category. So yeah, the history was good. There was one on the history of kings and queens throughout time. I quite like that. I'll click on the history, see if I can find what that was called. That did look interesting. They do Egyptology. That's my favourite. I love the study of Egypt and the pharaohs. I've always been mad on Egypt. They do an archaeology as well. That sounds interesting. Art history, Celtic mythology, Druidism and Christianity through the ages. Lots of different types of Egyptology and Greek mythology. That would be quite interesting, I expect. One on heraldry. The history of Shakespeare. I don't think Shan will do that. Although she's not so worried about Shakespeare as a man. She's just not into all his plays and things. I think this was it. History of the British Monarchy Diploma course. Let's see if I can turn that around. I don't know if it'll show phone to phone. As you can see, the price is £127 for that one. But quite often they have offers where most of them are going for £29. So the best time to grab one of them courses is when the offer for £29 is on. and they come up quite often, and they'll definitely come up in September because they always seem to come up in September. So I'm thinking when a history's done, we might do that one. So you just click on it to view the course. It gives you an idea what the course is about. This says it's 10 modules. It's got study group access and also lifetime access. What you learn is it's the study of the British monarchy and the story of England and Britain. And it tells you how many monarchs have been and, you know, all the different things they've gone through to get the crown. It's broken into 10 modules, each covering an era of the house that ruled at a particular time in the monarch's history. So it looks quite good. All different things. Here we are, the modules, the 10 modules. We've got 1 from Celts to Saxons, 2 the House of Normandy, 3 the Plantagenet monarchs, 4 the 100 Years' War and War of the Roses, 5 the Tudors, kings and queens, 6 kings from Scotland, the House of Stuart, 7 the monarchs of Restoration, 8 the House of Hanover and the Georgian Age, 9 the Victorian Edwardian Age, and 10 the House of Windsor. So it covers everything. So yeah, I'll go on no more about that, I'll be here all day. But yeah, I was looking into that and I was thinking, oh, maybe they're more appropriate for Sean. So this is what I'm thinking now. Come September, when a lot of her books are finished, especially the history, I definitely like the look of that history one. And if that is £29 in September, I think we're going to bag that course and give that one a go, because she's certainly interested in things like that at the moment. They also do them on the World Wars 1 and one on World War 2. Quite a lot of different things, and the suffragette movement. They cover lots of different stuff. So if your child doesn't want to sit exams, but they're quite happy to sit and do a little online course, I think they look brilliant. That's the centre of excellence. So they do look brilliant. So that's that. Enough talking. That's just what I've been doing at the weekends. Been thinking about it. I don't know whether I think about it because we've got people at school, like grandchildren at school and at secondary school, and I sort of think, oh, is she missing out on something? Should she be doing something more? I don't know. Or whether I'm just looking because I think, well, if she wants to do something more, probably a bit of each. But you've got to look, haven't you? So we'll see. She doesn't know what she wants to do when she grows up or anything like that yet. But there's plenty of time, all time in the world for that. Who does know? I mean, when you leave school, most people don't know. I still don't know. I've given up knowing now. So anyway, yeah. One more thing I was just going to tell you and show you, or not so much show you, but last week I was saying that Sean had about finished a book, so I was just going to give you a quick book review this week, and I've forgotten what the name of the book was. It was the Jacqueline Wilson book. Oh, I've forgotten. I'll just have to go and get the book to have a look. Right, I'm back. I found it. The book we read was by Jacqueline Wilson, and it was called Girls Under Pressure. Now, it was about a group of 3 friends, young girls, probably similar ages to Sean, you know, teenagers. And one girl's slim and beautiful and got all the latest stuff. Another girl is sort of slim and nice, but gothic-y looking, and she's sort of stands out in school because she's gothic-y looking, but everybody loves it. And then there's another girl who thinks she's fat. Nobody else thinks she is, but she thinks she's fat. And then she embarks on this diet. And it sort of follows her story of how she sees things and everything around her and her friends. And how she struggles to lose weight to the point that it could be dangerous. It shows you another girl in her school when she starts doing all these exercises and joining all these different classes for exercise. There's another girl in the school who's a bit older than her who also has eating disorders, and she actually does become anorexic. And toward the end of the book, this girl has gone into hospital, and the young girl, I think her name was Martha, who the story's about, who's, you know, sort of through her eyes, she goes to visit her and sees the problem, but you know, she's got to struggle back from the brink because Hermione's telling her she shouldn't eat because she wants to lose weight. So it's a bit of a struggle story with a girl, how she sees herself. And I think a lot of young girls do, because Sean's like that. This is how Sean has been related it, because she's always going, I'm fat, I'm fat. I say, for goodness sake, you're not fat. Well, I'm fatter than all my friends. Look how big I am. I said, Sean, you're taller than your friends, but you're not fatter. You're in proportion to your height. And so I think she followed this story and she could relate to this story. And any teenage girl who's going through issues like that, and a lot of them do, you hear a lot of young girls these days with the things they say, and you think, oh dear, you know. And Sean could relate to the issues in the book anyway, but she hasn't gone on any drastic diet, thankfully, and I hope she doesn't. But yeah, it's quite relatable. The book is quite relatable for young girls, and I think it's a good book for young teenage girls who feel that way to read. It is a good book. So Sean enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the book. So now we've finished that one, and we have started, we're a few chapters into another book called The Explorer. Now, I can't really get into this. She's reading it. It's about young children. I think there's 4 of them. They're in this plane, light aircraft that has crashed in the jungle, and they're there alone. Well, so far, we've no idea why they were on their own. 4 children who don't really know each other. I think there's a brother and sister, but the other don't know each other, the rest don't. Why 4 strange children were in a light aircraft with no parents? It doesn't say what's happened to the parents, unless it all comes out later in the book. But at the moment, it's a bit of a mystery. So they're just trapped there at the moment and making campfires and eating slugs and berries and So yeah, it's sort of a typical crash in the jungle on an adventure type of thing. So how the story will pan out, I don't know. But at the moment, I can't get into it. It's just, you know, doesn't make sense to me. And even Sean keeps saying, I don't know where the parents are. There's no mention of parents. What they're doing in a plane on their own. So at the moment, it's failed to tell you, but it may come up later on in the book. So we should give it a chance, because we've only sort of read that many in at the moment. We're not gone that far in. So yeah, we'll see. We'll give you a review when it's finished and tell if we've found out what happened to the parents and why they were in the plane on their own, and if they got off this island jungle, Amazon jungle it says. So yeah, they're stranded at the moment. So she wanted this book because when she was in year 5, I think she said it was, they started reading it, and she wanted to know more because they stopped reading it. They had a couple of chapters in and put the book away and never did know more. So she wanted to know what was happening to the rest of the book. She quite liked it at that time. So I bought her the book, but she'd never read it. So now we're reading it, so we better read it. So that's what we're reading at the moment, The Explorer. And when we finish it, we'll give you an update on how that's going and what that's like. So that's it, I think. As a quite a quiet weekend, we've had a couple of our grandchildren sleep over with us. One of my granddaughters and one of my grandsons came for a sleepover. One stays the whole weekend. She comes every other weekend. And the other one just comes now and again and has a sleepover. But we're running out of beds, and we have to put him on cushions off the settee, put him down on there, because there's no room at the inn. I'm getting a bit full up. But yeah, they came for the weekend, so it was quite nice because the weather's nice, so they can run around outside and tire themselves out a bit. Over winter, when everybody's cooped in, it's like, oh, my head. And they're all like boom, 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 up and down the stairs, because there's nothing for them to do, nowhere to go. And not the space to run around. They like to run around. So they've enjoyed it. The trampoline's back up and they've been bouncing on that and having fun. So it's been quite a nice weekend. And we've been out in the garden, busy out there. So I'll be giving you a show round there soon. Probably next week, is it? Next week. Gee, I've lost track where we are. Can't believe we must be nearly through the end of the month already. We've only just started it. Time's just flying. This year's just going so fast. So yeah, we'll give you a tour of that next week. I think it'll be next week. So then you'll get 2 vlogs, because I'll do my homeschool one and we'll have a tour one another day, the garden collab one. So anyway, we'll leave it at that for now, and we shall see you now next Tuesday. So until then, take care of yourselves and have a good week. Bye.